This is a terrible way to solve blank page syndrome. And it's because it's prioritizing our fast, instinctual, emotional response to a request, which is to generate a first draft for us so that we can then go and edit it because, it's taking care of the heavy lifting up front. But the reality is, if we want these AIs to improve our learning and our students' outcomes in the long term, we need to start thinking about how we can make them focus on helping us improve our system to thinking. And that has a lot less to do with generating quick things that we react to, and a lot more to helping us reflect on what the request that we're making is in the first place. So let's look instead at the reflective model, which is the prototype that we would suggest. The student starts by uploading their assignment and asking the question to write out a draft. And we can see that this time, the AI actually pushes back and asks them an opening reflection to think about themes and to explain what they find most compelling. So the student types out their answer, and then the AI gives some confirmation and asks them to refine it further. So, going back to that system 1, system 2 thing, in the literal, we have system 1, write me an essay, bam, here you go. In the reflective, we have system 2, deep thought, and we can see here that it's asking the student to think before they generate the question. Note as well that we are demoing that the questions being asked aren't clarifications so that it can go right. It's about helping the student know what to write. So it's not, could you tell me more about the style that you want to write this in? Could you tell me what sources you want me to use? It's asking things like, are you thinking about government dysfunction or something else? Are there any things that remind you from today's news in connection to what you learned in the history class? So those are the kinds of questions that we imagine critical thinking or reflection AI would use to help students achieve deeper outcomes. So the student answers this question as well. Once again, the AI asks them to reflect even further. And at some point, maybe after one more question, which is asking them to look for some sources, and the student explains where they've already looked, the AI can give some direction on what extra sources can be looked at. But critically is this text here at the bottom, which says, with that, you should be on the right track. Do you want me to keep asking questions, or do you want to try writing something? This is one thing that currently models don't really know how to do because they don't have the processes required to figure out when is the right moment to stop asking questions. You can try and prompt things, maybe build a custom GPT, but here are 2 examples of me trying to build a custom GPT. One where I give it rules, asking it to ask the student reflective questions, in which case we can see that it simply doesn't do that. It still writes the essay anyway. Even in the second example, where I show explicitly, if this is the prompt, do not give an essay, and it still gives an essay, there are problems with the black boxiness, and if we've made a video about this, which I'll link to in the top right corner, maybe that side, I always get this wrong. And even when you put in, aggressive things like under no circumstances, like in this third example, are you to answer the question? You should only ask questions. It doesn't have the intelligence or the reasoning capabilities to know when to actually stop helping and tell the student to go out and work, because it doesn't even have a model of what is the right moment to stop. It doesn't know what a good essay looks like, really. And that's why at Pragmatics, we are trying to work on experiments where we show the difference in the level of engagement that comes out of asking people deeper questions by using AI and making them more like assistants for deepening thought rather than speeding up productivity. And we're not alone in this. The Microsoft Research Group has a team called Tools for Thought who are putting out several papers showing the benefits of using AI in this way to our productivity, to reducing our cognitive load on things that don't matter, and increasing our cognition where it does. There's a link to the demo that was on the screen so you can scroll through it yourself and play with the different versions and see how you feel about the questions. But one thing that we invite you to do is to, first of all, reach out. Are you working on projects like this? Do you need a thinking partner? We'd love to jump in and see how we can help with that. But more importantly, try this exercise out for yourself. Pretend to be the AI and see when is the right time to stop asking questions. When do you ask what kind of question? All these things are so difficult for a person to do, let alone for us to try and build a model around them. And so we need more people thinking about this, and more people who work in managerial roles and in educational roles to make sure that their teams and their students are able to develop the skills they need for productivity in the long term, and not just focus on all the quick wins we have in the short term. If you want to see our next experiment, be sure to hit that subscribe button and leave a comment letting us know how this experiment worked for you, what you got away from it, and how it's impacted your way of working.